Welcome into a live best ball draft. Boy, it's been a minute since I've been doing a best ball draft, but this is the time. We are in. It's best ball season, kicking off with some playoff best ball tournaments. And if you haven't jumped into Drafters Fantasy, this is your chance. Use the promo code BEST, BEST, for a $20 first-time deposit bonus on Drafters Fantasy. They have, in particular, 2 GPP tournaments available, a $3 NFL Playoffs Mini Best Ball Championship and a $20 NFL Playoffs Best Ball Championship with $30K going to first. $5K goes to the winner of the $3 NFL Playoffs Mini Best Ball Championship round. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And there are only 9,336 possible entrants in this tournament. There's already over 5,000 filled up ever since the playoffs have been filled. It's go time. It is playoff best ball time. So I want to get in on drafting some of these. They've gone pretty fast. It's only a 6-person draft. And I want to talk about a little bit about the rules and scoring and everything as we get into here. Of course, you want to go to Drafters Fantasy and log in there. Okay, so roster and scoring. So you start for the best ball, 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. Typical scoring for quarterbacks, -2 for interceptions, a 4-point passing touchdown. Scoring for those who are new, still 1/10 of a point for every rushing yard or receiving yard. It is full point PPR. So that's something to keep in mind. You want to be bumping up your PPR players. 6 points for receiving and rushing touchdowns, -2 for fumbles lost, etc. There we go. We're going to get going here very shortly. As you can tell, almost 5,100 entrants. This is my second one today. And one of the keys, one of the guiding lights in mind is that I want to be heavy on two types of plays. I want to be heavy on half AFC, half NFC, okay? Because you want to maximize the amount of points that are going to accumulate throughout this playoff championship best ball tournament. But the second is I want to be targeting players particular that I think are going to be lasting more than 1 round. Because if they last more than 1 round, of course, they're going to be lasting 2, and there's a chance that they'll get even higher into that 3rd round. They'll play a 3rd game or they'll play in the Super Bowl. So that's what I want to be keeping in mind. And there are 4 teams that's really stick out to me that have, I think, the best chance of doing so. So I've been drafting a lot of these players. I think San Francisco, much to my chagrin, much to Billy Muzio's joy, San Francisco, I think, has a good chance of passing by Seattle. So they're going to play 2 games. So that means heavier on Kittle, heavier on Debo, heavier on IU. I also think the Philadelphia Eagles, even though they're going to get the bye, if you hold on for that 1 week, maybe you pair some of the Eagles early with a couple of Dallas or Tampa Bay players late. So that's 2. So the Eagles and the San Francisco 49ers. And then the other side, Buffalo and Cincinnati. Now, naturally, all of these types of players, because many people who are in these rooms recognize this as well, they're going to be highly sought after. You may want to be sprinkling in a couple contrary plays here and there, but you don't want to out galaxy brain yourself. You do want to be stacking, though, because, for instance, if you need a Quez Watkins or you need a Khalil Shakir, right, those are going to be some late plays that may be eyebrow raising or interesting here. Some upside plays, a Juwan Jennings, right? These are players who do play significant snaps but can get left behind, or if there are significant injuries, that they're going to step up into major roles. So those are players that I'm going to be keeping in mind. Of course, I'm going to be seeing if I can get as much of Cincinnati, Buffalo, Seattle, or San Francisco, and Philadelphia from this, because frankly, I think Dallas is in a lot of trouble, and so is Tampa Bay. I don't think they're going to last. One of those teams is going to play 2 games. Is it going to be Dallas or Tampa Bay? And I think that the line is -3 for Dallas, -2.5. I was seeing different lines here in the last couple of days. So I'm hesitant to be targeting Dallas or Tampa. You don't want to be taking zeros, but maybe that's the type of team that you want to be going after. So just a few thoughts before we jump into this live draft of the teams that I want to be going after because of the upside that those particular players offer, but also because of I envision those teams are probably going to be making it pretty far into the dance, right? If it's Buffalo versus Philadelphia, you're going to want those players. So let's jump on in. Let's get into it. We're going to join, and we're going to join. There we go. Starting in 2 minutes. We were the last one. Excellent. We are going to draft. This is always fun. Okay, I am ready to draft. And for those who are not familiar with Drafters Fantasy, you can adjust some of the settings, right? You can make it dark mode, light mode. Obviously, this is a 6-person draft, but during the off season, during the summer, they'll have pre-draft Bestball tournaments. They will also have post-draft. They'll have their $20 tournament. And so this is going to be a lot of fun getting into this. And of course, looking at who's going to be scoring the most. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey are at the top there. But Jalen Hurts, there's some eyebrow raises of, did he do enough for the Eagles to be comfortable with his passing and throwing and even rushing? That's going to be some questions for me. I do want Jalen Hurts, but I am picking 6th. And it looks like Jalen Hurts might not be available to me, but I am double tapping here. And starting 2 wide receivers would be very, very interesting to me because you have to start 2 and you pick in 12 rounds, you're starting a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end, right? So 5 of your 12 are going to be starting at any one point, and it drops off very, very quickly. All right, and welcome into those who are just tuning in. If you haven't drafted on Drafters before, go to drafters.com and use the promo code BEST, BEST, and that'll support me, but also it'll get you into these Drafters Best Ball playoff tournaments, okay? A couple seconds left, and we're going to strategize here, see what comes, let it come to us, but also, you know, I was able to hit on some Cincinnati, Buffalo, San Francisco, and Philadelphia players earlier this evening. And yeah, so we'll see which players actually do come to me in this round. Yeah, and not being afraid to, you might take 15 points in round 1, but then the team is eliminated. And like the Lamar Jacksons of the world are really, really risky. We don't even know if he's going to play, much less if the Ravens are going to get past Cincinnati. That would be a tough call. So we do like his upside, but it does look like Chase and Burrow, getting that stack is going to be really beautiful. We're going to go Chase, and then we're going to go Burrow. So I'm going to secure that Cincinnati stack, which is exactly what I wanted to do. I got the Bengals, and now I can focus. We'll see who comes back around in 9 picks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're looking at like Joe Mixon and Deebo Samuel. Those are some players that I'd be interested in. Dallas Goedert at tight end might be a leverage play in the PPR realm. Kelsey and Kittle go off to the same team. That seems extremely sub-off, right? Like if you're playing that way, you're banking on George Kittle being your tight end or your flex play. And as we know, tight ends typically have a difficult time getting into accessing even like top 18 or top 15. Oh man, there's some love for Brock Purdy as of late. I saw him go as the 17th pick overall in this draft. We see him as the 11th pick overall. You're getting points, but is Brock Purdy the 5th best quarterback? I don't know if that's true. Yeah, hop in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking here. Because, yeah, there we go. Serendipity Trick Shots, what's up? Saying hi to you. I'm going to be on the clock here in a moment. Yeah, Serendipity Trick Shots, if you haven't jumped on Drafters, hop on here. This is a lot of fun. Let's see. Debo goes off. T. Higgins goes off. Joe Mixon goes off. We're looking at Devonta Smith, possibly. Dallas Goedert, possibly. with Kittle and Kelsey off the board. Goddard here looks really nice, but then also Devonta Smith, right? I secure that second wide receiver, and I know they're not going to be playing, so I am going to have to keep in mind that I'm going to take a 0 at tight end unless I get a late tight end pickup. So I'll need to pick a tight end that's going to play here in the first round, and probably a cheap one. So I don't know if like Gerald Everett might be a late consideration here. Hayden Hurst might be a late consideration. Yeah, Hawkinson probably goes off, but that's a fine plug and play that I'm guaranteeing 2 rounds there. Cincinnati, Philadelphia are my two pretty heavy hitters right now to do, and I wouldn't mind taking like a CeeDee Lamb here to plug in for Devonta Smith that first round. Dawson Knox goes off. There's a clear stack in team 1 of Allen, Diggs, and then Knox, and then also Singletary. So there's a lot of Buffalo happening in that lineup, and Philadelphia as well. He's sniping me on. Okay. Wow. Yeah. CeeDee Lamb hanging out. But are there any other values of teams that would be, I anticipate, moving forward? I really don't see a lot of values from that at this point. Maybe Mike Evans, but it looks like Evans is significantly questionable. Yeah, let's go CeeDee Lamb. Let's draft some CeeDee Lamb. His ADP is pick 11 to get him at what? Pick 30? That's nice. And then, yeah, Hawkinson here. That feels really nice because Goddard and Smith are going to be playing that second round no matter what. And then I plugged in Hawkinson and Lamb for my Smith and Goddard outs. So I can still go with Philadelphia and Cincinnati. This path still makes sense for me. Okay. And then even if Dallas beats Philadelphia or beats Tampa Bay, then I get 2 games out of Lamb. And same thing with Minnesota. If they beat the Giants, then I get a pretty nice little bit there as well. So maybe we harp on a little bit more Minnesota stack. Okay. Especially with, did they get home field advantage? I think they got home field advantage. Nevertheless, I'm pleased with how this is shaping up right now. Yeah, it looks like not being afraid to plug in when you need some bye week fill-ins. You can throw the Chiefs in for the same reason as the Philadelphia Eagles, but I just prefer the Eagles if you're going to pick one team that's going to be on a bye. You know that I feel like there's more ups than some of the players there. Okay, so we've got Burrow, and let's just get our. We need a running back here. We do need a running back. I'm running low on running backs. Baltimore. Yeah, let's go with Dobbins there. And then also we're going to hit on, let's go Barkley. We're going to take some risks at running back there because Dobbins may not make it, but Barkley probably does. Breathing fantasy football, literal yo-yo man. What's up? Just noticed you live. Thanks. Appreciate it. Oh, it is refreshing for me. Yeah, thanks for hopping in. The Packers, man, oh man, talk about getting frustrated last night. I live a couple minutes outside of Detroit, and it was hard to come into work today. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit on some of those later running backs. So I like Gain. I like Elijah Mitchell. Those are some players, and Samaje Perine. Those are some running backs that I don't taking some shots on here. Yeah, I do not mind taking late shots on those players. I'm all set at tight end. I don't need any more tight ends. At wide receiver, I'm probably going to need to hit on a little bit more of the wide receiver. And maybe I hedge. Oh, Godwin goes off, but maybe I hedge between Evans and CeeDee Lamb because Evans and CeeDee Lamb are one of those 2 wide receivers are going to be coming back to play along with Devonta Smith in that game. So I think that could work out if Evans comes back to me. Okay. Man, oh man. Some of these drafters will take a long time. Some of them do not. All right. So Mike Evans there. You have to like Chase, Smith, Lamb, and Evans from a player perspective, but also I'm banking on Cincinnati probably going pretty far. We also need, Samaje Perine did go off here. That's frustrating. So we're going to go with Gain here. at the running back spot. Well, I've got Dobbins and Barkley and Gain. I'm hoping that Gainwell would continue. He was a PPR disappointment, frankly, this year. I had high hopes for him coming into year 2 and just didn't materialize. Frankly, Miles Sanders just went berserk. But as a handcuff, you could see Kenneth Gainwell being used pretty regularly. Bringing fantasy football, literally, you want to build a starting roster at least for Super Bowl in mind with these 4-week whole pod tourneys. What's your thoughts? You want to at least be able to craft a narrative is how I think about it. And what is the narrative? I think the only mistake pick so far in this is J.K. Dobbins. That's contrary to my Chase and Burrow. So I'm gonna probably have to get some more of the running back. So I keep making like one bad pick per draft, and I think that was it. I was just so tantalized. But yes, you need to talk yourself into a narrative. If this happens, then this also happens, and this will help me because blah 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 blah. You can't just go in and say I like this player, or this is someone that I think could hit, or picking players that are contrary to each other. The reason why I picked Evans and CD Lamb is I know one of them is going to get through and they're gonna play Devonta Smith. So I've got 2 of those 3 playing 2 games. All right. And I need running. And if I'm falling into the Mike Evans could be the one, then also like maybe I just hedge with a Malik Davis, right? If someone goes down, we could see that happening. It's just that there's not a lot of options here. Yeah, we're going to go Malik Davis. Okay, so it's not very wide receiver heavy, but with all those running backs, you could see a narrative playing out where I've got Joe Burrow at my quarterback spot, and then Gainwell and Chase and Goddard, right? And then also Devonta Smith in the championship. So maybe I don't get full points, but you do need to talk yourself into a narrative, frankly, because if you don't, or you have conflicting narratives, then that's going to be problematic. So those are just some of the things that I'm thinking through. You want to, of course, pick some of the best teams that you believe are going to advance, but you also don't want to pick contrary picks like that conflict with a narrative. If one team wins, then it eliminates the other. It's just not going to work out. So yes. And narrative, of course, indeed. So that was a lot of fun. It was a short little draft. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Yeah, let's see. Hedge is not horrible, but definitely not comfy in decision making. Yeah, it's true. But how many teams are going to have Lamb and Evans on the same, are going to be picking between both of them? There's also something to be said for being unique and getting those to pass through, because maybe I'm one of the teams that does have Malik Davis and CD Lamb in it, facing off against Burrow and Chase there. We'll see where it gets to, but it's tough too because of all the consolidated players. You're only picking from a certain amount, and to even get 6 solid teams out of it. As I get better at this too, I'll think this could work. I think the only real mistake pick here was J.K. Dobbins in the 7th round, but really looking back at the draft, it comes back around J.K. Dobbins. Maybe I should have taken Cousins to stack with Hawkinson. That's a possibility. Or gone with Eli Mitchell. But maybe Mitchell is the running back you want if McCaffrey goes down in week 1. What is the narrative that you're going to talk yourself into here? So we'll see how it goes. This was a lot of fun, though. It's good getting back in the best ball streets. And if you liked Drafters, make sure you use the promo code BEST, BEST, and that'll give you $20 for a first-time deposit bonus. So it's lots of fun. It's lots of breathing fantasy football. Literally, if I'm taking 5 running backs, see a Cincinnati running back on that team, yeah, maybe we take a really late shot on a Chris Evans if you're open for that. But P. Ryan has just been going earlier and earlier than what I was anticipating. In this round 9, are we going to take 1 round of Saquon, or are we going to hedge that Samaje Perine is going to make it into multiple rounds? Like Saquon, the Giants could knock off the Minnesota Vikings, and then we're talking about rounds of Saquon Barkley versus Samaje Perine, who really doesn't get a lot of work behind Joe Mixon. He's sprinkled in, but it's clear that Mixon is the RB1. So there are a lot of running backs. I think my one mistake here was the Dobbins pick. So nevertheless, it was a lot of fun still. Appreciate y'all tuning